Une méga évolution féroce, c'est la spécificité de Pokémon Legends Zelda. C'est que tu as des Pokémon aléatoirement dans la ville qui font une méga évolution incontrôlée. Il n'y a pas de dresseur, c'est là pourquoi. Mais du coup, ils sont méchants.
Comme sauvage.
Oui,
Abandonné.
exactement.
Ouais, d'accord.
Record scratch, freeze frame. Yep, that's me, Sam of the Daily Switch 2 podcast, from a very unflattering 0.5 angle that makes my ears look enormous, while I'm wearing a promotional yellow cardboard Pikachu hat and speaking bad French to an extremely patient representative of Nintendo / the Pokémon Company, whilst actually playing Pokémon Legends ZA. You're probably wondering how I got here. Yes, my friends, I have indeed played Pokémon Legends ZA for a full 20 minutes, and let me tell you something. Let me tell you, it was glorious. Regular listeners or viewers of this show will know that it is my most anticipated Switch 2 game, and one that I am going to be making a ton of videos on. I already planned that, and now it's going to be even more. You will also know that this is a completely independent podcast. I'm not affiliated or sponsored by Nintendo, the Pokemon Company, or anything like that. So until a few days ago, I thought that I wouldn't get to play the game until release date on the 16th of October. But here I was, a month and 3 days before that glorious and long-awaited day, with a Pro Controller in my hands, experiencing the game firsthand, playing the same 2 demos that you've probably seen a million other YouTubers playing at these kind of events by now. But this is different. This is special because it's me. So I have to weigh in as if my opinions are somehow important. And by golly, I've got opinions and I'm gonna share them. You may be wondering how this came to be, or if you're a regular listener, you may have put 2 and 2 together and realized that this is why I mentioned in a previous video that I was on my way to Paris. I'm currently still in Paris, speaking to you now from a hotel and trying to be quiet as to not disturb anyone else in a nearby room, but I just had to share this stuff right away. There was actually a huge 2-day Pokemon event called Mega Evolution Paris. The theming was incredible, with a whole mini recreation of Lumiose City, or Illumis if vous parlez français, to walk around. Tons of unique merch and giveaways. I interviewed some really cool people. I even met Pikachu and Eevee themselves, and I was totally starstruck, obviously. I took a ton of video, so once I get home, I will start piecing together a proper vlog, and either in that episode or in another upcoming Pokemon video, I will do a free giveaway so that you can actually win some of the exclusive Paris event merch. So, if you aren't already, you would be a fool not to subscribe now, wouldn't you? But before we talk about my hands-on playtime and thoughts on what I played, we have more Legends ZA stuff to cover. I recently did a video with 5 trailers, which I reacted to, and since then we have another 5 trailers. They really are going all out in promotion to raise hype on this one, and let me tell you, it's really working, for me at least. So yeah, in this episode I will watch and react to the 3 Malamar trailers, then the 2 proper gameplay trailers shown at the recent Nintendo Direct. We will talk in detail about my thoughts on the Mega Dimension DLC, and then finally we'll cover the 2 10-minute demos that I played and my hands-on impressions and thoughts. We're going to dive right into that just after, real quick, I just read the podcast intro, and if you skip the intros, no worries, just drop a like and comment while you're doing so. It's free, and it really helps me to not get lost in the algorithm. I'm sure you've heard many YouTubers talking about how it is completely broken at the moment, and you can imagine how if it's hurting huge YouTubers with millions of subs, it's even worse for the people like me with only 1,000. Don't get me wrong, I'm really happy to have recently hit 1,000, thank you so much, but yeah, it's hard out there for a YouTuber. Get a proper job. But if you are one of those 1,000 who subscribe to me and you've somehow managed to find this without it getting hidden away by that evil algorithm, thank you so much for listening and watching. I do appreciate you so much. I would not be able to get invites and attend events like this if it wasn't for people like you. So thank you. Okay, super quick intro read and then we're off to the races. Hi everyone, welcome to Daily Switch 2, a podcast covering everything related to the Nintendo Switch 2 with at least one new episode or video uploaded per day to YouTube, Spotify and your favourite major platforms. My name is Sam and I've been a gamer since the 1980s. I've worked in the entertainment industry since I was a teenager, including as a games journalist, producer of gaming documentaries and shows, and I'm even programming multiple indie video games, including 4 which will be released on the Switch and hopefully Switch 2. So be sure to subscribe and follow the show for the world exclusive news on those as they drop. However, I'm a gamer and Nintendo fan at heart, and this podcast is purely a passion project for me to talk about the stuff that interests and excites me about this new system. It's not monetized or funded by any entity. It's completely unofficial and unbiased so that I can give my full, frank, honest opinions. So if you want to support me or just find out the best places to get these free daily episodes, or to join our free members area where you can talk to me and leave suggestions and take part in monthly free giveaways to win official Nintendo prizes, including potentially some of the Pokémon Paris exclusive merch. All links are in the bio and at linktree/dailyswitch2. That's linktr.ee/dailyswitch2. Thank you so much. And back to the episode. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump right into the Malamar stuff and get that out of the way first. We have 3 videos here that I've already watched because I was originally going to react to them in a different episode that I started to record just before I found out about my trip to Paris. But through the magic of editing, I'm going to insert the recording here so you can hear my genuine live reactions and immediate afterthoughts. Let's go! Okay, so let's jump right into the 3 Pokemon ZA, Legend ZA trailers that have been uploaded or stealth dropped to the Pokemon official YouTube channel. These I don't believe these were featured in any event, or maybe they were part of PAX West, I don't know, because I didn't really cover that. But anyway, all 3 of them seem to be Malamar related, so I'm imagining this is going to be very similar to what we've had with the other Mega Evolutions. So we're probably going to have a Malamar Mega Evolution, and we've had really cool videos, like video trailers, like with little skits or little short films, and they're always good fun, but we don't get too much new information from them. It's like they're teasing which Pokemon is going to get a Mega Evolution, and then we'll get 1 or 2 of those teasers, and then we'll jump into some actual gameplay footage featuring the Mega Evolution. I imagine that's what we're going to have here. I don't know, I haven't watched them, but being that all 3 are Malamar related, and one of them is just literally called Malamar.mp4, I imagine it's going to be another horror or another live action skit, so that will be cool. Malamar themselves, yeah, it totally makes sense. From what I'm not like a huge expert on the entire Pokédex, but from what I remember, Malamar is obviously is a dark psychic Pokemon, one of, if not the most powerful of the hypnotic Pokemon. So I imagine that that will be something that's covered, but also totally makes sense for Legends ZA because Malamar was introduced in Gen 6 with Pokemon X and Y, which obviously were the first games that were set in Lumiose or Illumis, the city that Legends ZA is set in, the kind of fictional Pokemon version of Paris that I'm so hyped and excited for. So yeah, I'm not sure what to expect from the kind of short film style stuff, but we will watch it and react to it. But I imagine I'm not going to have much to say about it afterwards, so I'll just let it run straight into the gameplay trailer footage, and then we'll regroup and I'll talk about the gameplay footage afterwards. Okay, cool. Let's play. Right, so this one is quite short, and it's just called Malamar.mp4, so it's obviously a skit, maybe it's a teaser.
Are you recording? Yes, come on, get a close-up.
Malamar is so sweet and adorable.
Make sure to share this.
I don't think they are.
You're certainly cheerful, and your taxi.
Okay, so these
is colorful. Care to tell us more?
That reminds me of the Frige car that we had in France during the Olympics, with all the Friges inside and outside. Yeah, so obviously these are people who have been hypnotized. I'm laughing because when I lived in London and for a period, and when I lived in LA as well, I made many things like this as like quick and dirty promotional jobs for different companies. We would just put an advert out there for aspiring actors and things who wanted to turn up and take part in random events.
Breaking news. The recent Malamar popularity boom in
Okay,
Lumiose
so this is
City
the full
more
length.
than just a
This is
craze.
the full length
Lumiose
version. I
City
just went
has
straight
obtained
into
an
it.
exclusive statement from a Pokemon trainer who claims to be responsible.
This is nicely
Don't know
done.
why, but I wanted people to see how friendly Malamar is. I had it use its hypnotic
I love
powers.
how
I was
it's obviously
careless.
an American actress,
I'm
but
sorry.
she's wearing a beret and a kind of
Careless
typical
indeed.
French, or
Lumiose
what
latest has
Americans
acquired
think of as a
shocking
French
footage of this
costume.
apparent hypnosis happening across the city. Well-mannered, cultivated.
Yeah, this is cool.
modest.
This is nicely done.
That's how
Yeah.
close friends describe this local painter in Lumiose City.
Oh, look! I
You're
want
so
one.
sweet and adorable.
He
But
is
shortly after
adorable.
this footage was captured, something strange happened.
Yeah. So this is the same lady who was in the teaser where she's graffitiing.
To extravagant.
Yeah, as I was saying, I used to, when I was living in London full-time, and then when I was living in LA full-time, we would do these kind of pop-up events where it was kind of semi-planned but semi-unplanned, and we'd see which members of the public
Make sure to share this.
applied to turn up to be in this kind of non-union filming job.
Well, something certainly seems
And you know, we'd pay them and
Later
we'd
that
feed
day,
them
I
and
spoke to
everything,
a
but it
taxi
was
driver who
often
also
just
got
people who
caught
would be
up in
willing
the
to
moment.
do silly stuff,
You're certainly
and you'd
cheerful
feel it
and
out on the day,
taxi.
like who
Wow,
was.
it is colorful.
Like I can
Care to
imagine
tell
this
us
this
more?
gentleman here was just
With
like
Malamar in
really
my rear
flamboyant and like, yeah,
there's
I
no
don't
job
mind
I
just
can't
making
do.
an absolute fool
My
of
friend
myself. This is
Malamar.
going to be fun. This is something to put on my CV or something to show
But
to my
it seems
kids.
he wasn't always like
Really
this.
cool.
Thanks to the taxi's
It's
dash cam,
just a
we're
really
able
fun
to see
time, and
something
you can.
rather
I always get the
interesting
vibe when
occur.
I'm watching these Pokemon things of they're having a really fun time putting them together. So, as somebody in the industry who's made many kind of little promotional things like this for various companies over the years, it makes me smile because I can imagine what the process of making them was like. Some great acting there. Do you know what though? The
bright
effects
flash.
are pretty good
Was that
here. The editing is
mega
pretty
evolution?
good. This
And
news
what happened at
footage
the
is
end?
no worse
retrieved of
than
this
news
executive
footage
may
that
tell
I've
us
made
more.
for Hollywood movies.
I'll work on that. Owen, do you have
And the compositing is good. The color grade is good. The lighting is nice. Oh, see, that's cool.
Let's put a pin in this and circle back.
Yeah, and it looks like it's
What
coming
time
out
are
of
you
him, but the character's probably going to be behind it. Yeah. Oh, that's sick.
My friend?
Malamar.
My friend Malamar!
My
Could
friend
this be the work of a mega
Malamar.
evolved Pokemon? Who are these shadowy figures? And what happened to that executive? Well, courtesy of this viral video, we do know.
Yeah, and this was definitely improvised at the time. It was just somebody in the crowd. You would have had about 50 random extras would have turned up, and it's like, right, who wants to be on camera? Who's willing to do something silly? And then you just feel it out in the moment,
Well,
see what
Lumiose
happens.
latest have an exclusive interview with the trainer.
And
claiming
I've
to be
also been one of the
responsible.
people who's willing
Thanks
to
for
make a
joining
fool
us.
out of myself and do
So,
something silly.
what
You
is
know,
your
so
part in
yeah,
all
if you go
of
back
this?
far enough in my career,
Is
you'll find
this
videos
you?
of me doing all
Yes.
kinds of crazy stuff
I'm
to
so sorry.
advertise
I
random
just didn't
companies.
realize how powerful Malamar's hypnotism could get. How
Yeah, it's so
people's
funny because you've got this
personalities would change
stereotypical kind of
entirely
French
when it
bob haircut there.
mega evolves.
The
So it is mega evolution.
the outfit,
Yes.
the beret.
Yes, let me show
Don't get me
you.
wrong, she looks good. She looks good. But it's just is very. This is how Americans think French people look,
Mega
which is very
Malamar.
funny.
Oh my. Matt?
Malamar. Oh, see, that's a beautiful. Is that live action background? And he's put on that, or is that a CGI back? I can't quite see because I'm watching on a low resolution. But if that's a live action background with him composited, that looks really good. They've done a really good job with the colored lighting. Yeah, that was fun. So let's go right into the gameplay footage, because obviously there's only so much you can say about the live action stuff. It's just good fun, isn't it? But now we're going to see in-game footage of presumably a mega evolution of Malamar. Malamar, who is now my friend Malamar. I love Charmander. Charmander may be my favourite Pokemon, I don't know. Although I've got a very soft spot for Meowth as well. Because in the original anime series, he was the only one that talked, and his whole kind of sad backstory made me love him. Oh, poor Dragonite. Yeah, again, everything I always say about this game, I do have people in my comments like complaining or saying like, how can you say these graphics look good? No, they don't. Yeah, to me they do. They're really nice. Yeah, sure, they're low poly, but the lighting, it's so the frame rate is smooth. It's high res. The lighting is so really nicely done, and the particle effects, the transparencies, it all looks great. Okay, so not very much to go over in that. We didn't see anything other than, okay, Malamar is getting a Mega Evolution, and here's what it's going to look like. What can I say? I feel like whenever I react to those kind of trailers or the Mega Evolution stuff, I sound like I'm underwhelmed, but I'm so hyped for this game. I'm so looking forward to it. It's just, I'm not the only person to say this, but most of what we've seen so far has been battle stuff in very restricted areas, whereas the majority of what was really interesting to me in some of the more extended trailers that go into the whole game itself is more the story side of things, and the campaign and the day-night cycle, and exploring the city, and the story elements and the detective elements and stuff. To be honest, I'm more excited for that than I am for the battling. But it looks great. I'm super hyped for it. It's literally my number one most hyped Switch 2 game right now, certainly as far as the big kind of first party or second party stuff, and 3D modern games. Obviously there's lots of kind of retro style pixel art games and indie stuff that I'm really hyped for, but as far as the big games, Pokemon ZA, absolutely hyped for it. Obviously I've got my pre-order down. I went for the more expensive one that comes with the cool statues and stuff like that. Can't wait for it. Looks great. Okay, so that was my live reaction and aftermath of the clip from before, and now it's in this new episode instead, because and this makes a much better episode because I've actually played the game now, so I can talk about it later. But first, we've just literally had that incredible hour-long Nintendo Direct with all kinds of weird esoteric stuff that I wasn't expecting, and like the Virtual Boy, what the hell, and also some really important stuff, like we finally got release dates on many games, and now I'm feeling a lot more confident about Nintendo Switch 2's kind of future over the next few months. We've got many big games for me to cover between now and Christmas, so that's really exciting. So let's go right into my live reaction to the Nintendo Direct trailers. We've got two trailers here. Firstly for Legends ZA by itself, and then secondly for the Mega Dimensions DLC. So I'll play both back to back along with my reactions live, and then we'll cut into me talking about them properly. And even if you've heard my reactions, you won't have heard that before. But if you had heard this before because you watched my live reactions to the full Direct, you can, of course, as always, skip. There will be timestamps in the description and the pinned comment. Okay, thank you.
A brand new Pokémon game is coming to Nintendo Switch 2.
Okay.
We hope you're looking forward to Pokémon Pokopia, where a
Pokopia.
Ditto with a human appearance builds a new life with other Pokémon. Next, we have information about another Pokémon game, which launches very soon.
I don't know how to feel about that, but it looks kind of cool. Right, Legends ZA, this is what I really want. This is what I'm hyped for. This is what I'm literally staying awake all night so that I can catch a coach back to Paris in order to preview. I will literally be playing this game at a Nintendo preview event tomorrow, and I cannot wait. God, it looks good. This is a new trailer as well. We haven't seen. There's lots of this content we haven't seen before. I love everything about this. This is like the most hyped I've been for a Pokemon game in very, very long time. It looks so good. And I know I'm biased because I'm a big Francophile and I love Paris, but yeah, I love the colouring, I love the setting, I love how the battles work. I love the themes, I love the detective side quests, I love the underground crime things, the day-night cycle. Everything about this game is cool to me, so... And the Mega Evolutions, which they keep pushing. And the multiplayer as well, the fact that it has, you know, that kind of all-for-one multiplayer Power Stone style thing. Yeah, it's okay, you don't have to persuade me, I've already pre-ordered it.
It appears that new Mega Evolved Pokémon have
Yeah,
been
it looks amazing, and I
Lumiose
absolutely
City,
cannot wait to play it tomorrow at the preview event, and I'm so happy to be invited to play it early. But they didn't need to persuade me, I'd already pre-ordered it.
Please take a look.
Take a look at what? Another trailer? What's this? Is this Sede as well, or is this another Pokemon game? Raichu? Mega Evolution Raichu? Maybe? Looks kind of sick. X and Y. Metal Raichu, Pokemon Legends, Mega Dimension. Wait, is that DLC for a game which hasn't even come out yet?
ZA is getting paid DLC called Mega Dimension. Raichu has 2 different Mega Evolutions.
I mean, it looks freaking cool.
How do you think they'll perform?
It looks
More
freaking
details
cool,
will be
but
shared in the future. Let's move on.
but
to
paid
some more
DLC,
headlines.
announcing paid DLC for a game that isn't even out yet, that's... I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about that.
Fun in the sun?
As I said, I'm super hyped for ZA. Nothing's going to stop me being hyped for it, but that's a little cheap. If it's day one DLC, that means it was ready day one. It should be included on the game. You're cheaping out by not including it. I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
But I'll be buying it anyway. As I said, I've already pre-ordered, and I'm genuinely excited to play it. So, okay, so 2 trailers there, obviously. Let's talk first about the Mega Dimension DLC, because I'm a little bit more mixed on that one, and I want to finish on a more positive note because the main trailer got me really hype. But the Mega Dimension DLC, nothing wrong with it in theory. In fact, I really liked it. It's just there's something about the game isn't even out yet, and you're already announcing DLC, and you know, Nintendo, we already don't trust you on pricing and things like that. And especially as I initially thought that what they were announcing was day one DLC, and I was like, oh, like that felt kind of scummy, because if something's ready on day one, and then it's not included with the game, or that's charged extra for, that really rubs me the wrong way. I know it's quite standard nowadays with a lot of games. Like you'll get like a deluxe version or a version that comes with a season pass or whatever, and some of the DLC is included in that, and the base game doesn't have that content. But for me, DLC should be something that comes down the line. Because the game is done well, because the devs want to add to it, or they're inspired to add something to it, and like 6 months later they can feel like, okay, let's give players an excuse to come back. People who've already bought the game, let's, you know, reward them by giving them some more content, and preferably it should be free. But I mean, if it's substantial, I don't mind it being charged for as like an expansion pack kind of thing. But as a dev myself, I would never ever be comfortable putting out day one DLC and charging people extra, because it's obvious that you could have included it for free if you wanted to, and you're just choosing to charge extra to try and upsell. I don't like it. It seems a bit scummy. But as I say, this isn't actually day one DLC. I think they should have made that a lot clearer in the direct, because I saw a lot of people annoyed about it, and if they'd been a lot clearer and said, look, this is not day one DLC. This is just showing you something that we're working on. It's not finished yet. It's not ready. It's just a little teaser for something that's coming down the line. I think there would have been a lot of people less annoyed. Now I know that they did kind of say that, and it kind of was on the script, but they should have made it a lot clearer and stated it out front. So we don't actually have a release date yet for this DLC, just that it will be coming before the end of February next year, so February 28th, 2026. So the trailer, as I said, I'm not negative on the trailer. It didn't show very much at all, but what it did show, I thought was great. I really like the name. I know it's simple, like Mega Evolution, but for me, you know, I'm kind of big 90s guy, so anything with kind of Mega in the title just automatically sounds cool to me. And I love the logo. The logo just looks bitchin', looks really cool. I'm like, oh, I can imagine wearing that on a t-shirt or something. I love the neon colors, almost like a kind of spray paint airbrush custom t-shirt style of the trailer itself, and the artwork and the background graphics and stuff. Awesome hype music, kind of high tempo pop punk college rock guitar riffs. It's all very 90s and in your face. I love it. I actually thought it felt quite mid 90s to early 2000s Sega-ish, and that's a very good thing. That's basically my aesthetic. But as I say, it awesome trailer, got me hyped, but it didn't really tell us very much. It includes 2 different Mega Evolutions of Raichu. So, you know, as I keep saying, we keep getting trailers, or sometimes, you know, even more than one video or more than one trailer, you know, to announce or just a single Mega Evolution. And to me, I'm like, okay, a single Mega Evolution isn't that exciting to me. But this is Raichu. Obviously the evolved version of Pikachu, and Pikachu is like the OG Pokemon. Like, Pikachu is not my favorite Pokemon, but he's like I love Pikachu, and he is obviously kind of like the emblem of the Pokemon company, really, isn't he? It's just the Pokeball and Pikachu. You see those 2 things, and it's obviously that just says Pokemon. Even people who know nothing about Pokemon would recognize Pikachu. In fact, yesterday, after the event, and I was walking back to my hotel after the event, and I was still wearing my silly cardboard hat, because I didn't want to fold it to put it in my rucksack. I didn't want it to get creased, so I thought, sod it, I'll walk back to my hotel whilst still wearing the silly Pikachu hat. And I knew I looked like an idiot, because it's not a proper Pikachu hat. It's just like one of those like cardboard kind of party hats that you'd wear at like a McDonald's party when you're a kid or something like that, you know. And I'm like a 40-plus-year-old man, and I'm walking along wearing this Pikachu. But people along the way, so many people were smiling at me, but not like in a pity way. It was genuinely making people happy to see this, you know, silly, uber bright yellow kind of Pikachu face smiling at them as they were going along on their day in Paris. And it was nice, actually. Somebody even stopped and said to me, and again, this sounds patronizing, but it genuinely wasn't. And he said in French, he said, never change, because just never change, never let anybody change you. Stay who you are, because you will be so much happier in life, and you will also make other people around you happy. If you stay who you are and you're not afraid to be yourself. He said that in French, and I was really touched that a random stranger kind of said that to me as I was walking along, just because I happened to feel comfortable wearing a silly Pikachu hat. But it genuinely was making people's day. And also, I was walking down the Champs-Élysées, which, if you don't know, is one of the richest and most prestigious kind of streets in Paris. It leads leads up to the l'Arc de Triomphe, the huge kind of big archway that you probably know because it's one of the most famous landmarks in Paris. And that area is actually where Illumis City, or Lumiose City in Pokemon ZA, is actually set. The map of Lumiose City is set around the kind of wheel and spoke area of that part of Paris, but instead of the Arc de Triomphe, they've replaced it with their kind of Pokemon version of the Eiffel Tower. But the road layout and the map layout is actually based on that area. Fun fact, and I'll be covering that in detail in another video. But yeah, so I was walking down one of the richest, most prestigious parts of Paris, walking past all these massive designer brands and everything, and I walked past this very, 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 very expensive hotel. And it had like kind of coffee area outside, but just for people at the hotel, or if you wanted to pay to dine at the hotel, it's very expensive. And there was loads of security and things, as you would imagine. And I felt a bit silly walking past this prestigious thing where you have to wear a suit to get in, but here was me in my hoodie and sweatpants and with a cardboard Pikachu hat. But one of the people stood outside, one of the kind of concierges, stopped me, and he said, I love your hat. Where have you been? Again in French. I'm very lucky that I can speak French. It's difficult for English native speakers to learn French. It's not easy at all, but I'm lucky that I've I can get by. And he was like, yeah, I love your hat. That's awesome. Where did you get it? Where have you been? And I explained, there's just been an event, a Pokemon event. And did you know that the new Pokemon game is set in a fictionalized version of Paris? And he was really, really excited. And he said, one of my colleagues is a massive, massive Pokemon fan. He would love to talk to you about this. Please come in. And so even though you usually can't enter that hotel unless you were like in a full suit and tie and everything else, it was me in my sweatpants and my silly cardboard hat, and he brought me in and sat me down and said, would you like a coffee? And they brought me like coffee and cakes and all kinds of stuff to eat. And the guy, the member of staff, was very excited to talk to me about the event and to hear that I was a presenter of a podcast and I'd just been to an event. And I actually had a load of merch on me from the event because, as I said, I saved some of it so that I could give it away to you guys in competitions and things like this. But I had spares. So this guy was obviously such a huge Pokemon fan. He was saying it was his favorite cartoon when he was a kid, and he still loves it to this day. And if he'd have known that this event was on, he would have taken time off work. And so I said, no, cool, you can have, here you go, here's a program, here's a poster, here's magazines, here's some cards, here's some stickers, here's some whatever. And he was so happy. But it's just very funny to me that like I was the only person in that hotel or sitting down and eating and drinking who wasn't wearing like a suit and tie, and I still had this silly cardboard hat on. But yeah, no, so Pikachu is like the emblem of Pokemon, and I have so much Pikachu merch. Pikachu was the first plushie Pokemon that I got way back in 1998. I told a story all about that. Kind of happened coinciding with my parents' divorce, but there's a kind of nice story about it, which I mentioned in a previous episode. So yeah, no, I love me some Pikachu, even though he's not my favorite Pokemon, but he's one of, absolutely, and is just an emblem for the whole of Pokemon by itself. So obviously a Mega Evolution of Raichu is awesome, and we have two Mega Evolutions of Raichu, Mega Evolution Raichu X and Y variants, and honestly, I think both of them look just super awesome. But really, considering this is paid DLC, Mega Evolution of just one Pokemon, that's not too much to get excited about, even though I love the look of it and I love the music and I love the way it was presented. I was kind of like, okay, so this is paid DLC, but what else is there? And it didn't really show anything, but if you kind of freeze framed, you could read the text, and if you listen to what they said, and if you do a bit of research afterwards, you find out it also includes new costumes for your human characters, for your player-controlled characters. Only 2 have been announced so far, Hollow X and Hollow Y apparel, basically a male and female variant, I suppose. But I don't suppose they're gender specific, but that seems to be like how they were showing it. I hope there's more than that. As far as the costumes and extra stuff, I'm not sure. Or is it just literally, a mega evolution, 2 mega evolutions of one character and 2 variants of an apparel costume? But it did say additional story content coming soon. And it was just on screen for like a couple of seconds in small text. And really, in my opinion, they buried the lead on that. That should have been much, much more clear in the trailer. If I'm correct in thinking that this additional story content will come with the paid DLC, then obviously I'm a lot more interested in it. For me, DLC, it shouldn't, especially if it's if you're paying for it and it's, a substantial price, it should have actual, story content, actual playable stuff, not just cosmetics, in my opinion. It drives me mad. Because back in the day, not to sound like an old man yelling at clouds, but back in the day, things like alternative costumes or even other characters were not things that you paid for. These were things that you unlocked by grinding and playing the game and being good at it, and it was like a reward for playing. Was you would unlock other costumes and other characters. And I know some people will say, "Oh well, look at like Street Fighter 2 Turbo. That was basically paid DLC to get 4 characters or whatever." Yeah, okay, kind of, but that was very much an exception to the rule, and people did complain back in the day. People absolutely did complain about things like that. In general, in kind of older retro games, if you had multiple characters and they weren't available from jump, or if you had multiple costumes and they weren't available from jump, they were literally, you would earn them through gameplay, and I much prefer that, and that gives me more reason to come back. So yeah, for me, paid DLC, if it doesn't include story content, I'm almost always going to pass up on it. But it does say in the small text, additional story content coming soon. So I'm hoping that means coming soon information about the additional story content that will be in the DLC. And the reason why I say that especially is because after doing a bit of research, the cost for this DLC is $29.99. $30. WTF. $30. So this is a $70 game. And even before it's announced, even before it's released, they've already announced $30 DLC. I mean, I complain about the Nintendo $20 DLC, and I think that most of the time that's overpriced. I've just reviewed Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Starcrossed, 2 Starcrossed lovers take their life, whatever it was. I love that game. I absolutely love that game. But the extra content is arguable as to whether it's good value for $20 or not. It's arguable. For me, the main reason to buy the DLC is to get the performance updates. And the performance updates, many other first-party Nintendo games, not that Kirby is first-party, but you know what I mean, kind of main Nintendo brand games, have if the Nintendo Switch 2 update is just performance update, like nicer graphics, nicer frame rate, but there's no extra content, typically they've been free. So with the Kirby content, $20 extra, arguably the reason to pay it is to get the performance update, but it should have been free. So when you take that into consideration, is the extra content worth $20? I mean, it's good fun. I like it, but it's not, it's not that substantial. So and that's for $20 that I was having those kind of conversations in my head of, is it worth it? Is it not worth it? Is it good value or is it not? So for $30, that is the most expensive, Nintendo first/second party DLC that we have so far. So I don't like that I don't like that at all. But Pokemon Legends ZA is literally, I'm so hyped for this game. I'm so excited about it. I've traveled all the way to Paris and I've just played it and I love it. I really loved it. It was so good. Am I slightly annoyed by the fact that there is DLC already announced? Yes. Am I suspicious as to whether it'll be good value or not? Yes. Will I buy it anyway? Probably. Especially if there's extra story content. But the good news is it's not day one DLC. It'll just be coming sometime before February. So maybe it genuinely isn't ready in time for launch, and it genuinely will be like, a few months after playing the game, 5-6 months after playing the game. You get to pay for more content if you want to jump back into the game that you've already completed. So, I can't complain too much. But $30, WTF. Right, so moving on to the kind of main trailer, the main substantial gameplay trailer that we've gotten recently. This is obviously by far the biggest, most varied, most complete trailer that we're talking about today. This was originally shown in the Nintendo Direct, but now it's available separately as well. The first thing that we saw, there's three new Mega Evolutions on top of all the other new Mega Evolutions that we've had. These three, obviously, you can probably see on the screen right now if you're watching on YouTube, but if you're listening on Spotify or whatever, you can't see them. But there were for Chestnut, Delphox, and Greninja, which of course are the starter trio in which region is the Kalos region? Kalos, I think. So that's cool. That's awesome. I'm sure there's many people who are very, very fond of those Pokemon, because they're, any starter Pokemon is someone's first Pokemon. That's cool. As I said, for me personally, I do like the whole Mega Evolution gimmick, but individual Mega Evolutions are not something that particularly excites me. But this trailer, it showed so much of the game. It's probably the best trailer that we've gotten so far for showing like an overview of what the entire game is like. We see at least hints of story elements. We see the day and night cycle being shown. We show the detective agency stuff. We see real kind of interactions between the Pokemon and the human trainers. I've mentioned this before, but this is one of the things that I think is specifically cool about this game is they're trying to emphasize more kind of equality between the Pokemon and their trainers. Like the Pokemon are part of your team and you're working together, and you have more kind of reactions between them, and they kind of look at each other and almost as if they're kind of, well, they are communicating with each other, but without dialogue, but via looks and things like this. Also, we saw a little bit of Corbeau and the kind of darker underworld side of the story. Again, only a couple of shots, but the fact that it's paying heed to that is great for me, because as I said earlier today in this episode, I am far more excited about the story elements, the world building elements, the exploring of the city elements. I really love the idea of all the side quests and the detective stuff, and the differences between what happens at day and night. I love the fact that you're part of a team as well. It's not just you as a lone Pokemon trainer kind of wandering, trying to... No, you're genuinely part of a team. There's other people on your side. It showed the multiplayer elements as well, which of course we've talked about in a previous trailer, and I think looks really, really cool, the multiplayer element. Almost kind of Power Stone or Smash Brothers-esque. So that's really awesome. And we just got lots of beautiful shots, showing around Lumiose / Illumis. They're just, new stuff, new areas that we haven't seen before, or new shots, quite cinematic shots that we haven't seen before. And as I said, it just looks incredible. For me, everything about the aesthetic of this game is just spot on. I love it. I think it looks great. I did have somebody in my comments make quite a good point where they were like, well, if you want to make like a really kind of next gen Pokemon game. Wouldn't it be cool if they released one that actually looked like the anime? And yeah, I would love that. I would love that. But I mean, this as it stands is a logical graphical progression on the previous Pokemon games, but you know, just everything is smoother and kind of softer in its colors, but sharper in its resolution and much higher frame rate. And I really like this kind of Pokemon style low poly, admittedly, but low poly representation of kind of Paris with the Houseman styles. I think it looks great. But as I say, the story stuff, the graphics stuff, the multiplayer stuff, the day and night variations, the expansion on the relationship between all the human characters working together as part of a team, but also the Pokemon being more integrated and being more equal on an equal footing with the humans. Everything about it is great. I really like it. And then of course we saw lots of battling and lots of Mega Evolution. And I guess that is where we come into something that I can actually talk about firsthand, because as we said, and as I showed very briefly at the beginning of this episode, I have actually now played the game for 20 minutes, two 10-minute demos, which you might have seen other people playing. It's the same demos that were at I believe PAX West, and definitely at Gamescom and the Pokemon World Showcase. So, you know, nothing new if you've already watched other people playing them, but it's certainly new for me as far as actually getting a hands-on impression, actually playing them. Now, we're already past the 45-minute mark, and I like to try and keep these episodes around about the hour-long mark. So I won't talk too much. I'll probably do a separate video. Either it'll be part of my blog or part of my vlog of the entire event in Paris, or if that ends up to being too long, I might make it a separate video. I don't know. I'm not trying to milk it. I just, you know, what makes sense to include in what episode. But to briefly give my opinions. Firstly, graphics look even better in person. They were beautiful TVs on the kiosks, and the kiosks were great. I want one of those Switch 2 kiosks. Absolutely beautiful. I made sure to get lots of video footage and photos of that as well. I'm sure there's plenty of people who collect Nintendo kiosks, and the Switch 2 one is really, really nice. If I can somehow get one at some point for my game room, yeah, I would kill for one of those. But yeah, the TVs that they had attached to said kiosk, they weren't enormous, but they were really nice, really crisp, really high quality, really bright 4K screens. And I was, stood just 2-3 foot away. And I can tell you, my God, it looked great. Everything looked so crystal clear, so sharp. The colors absolutely popped. Even, playing at nighttime, you've got a lot of the kind of neon colored lights and a lot of the lights going on in the in the building. So I don't know whether it was HDR, but it was beautiful looking. The colors really, really popped. Looked really great. And yeah, that frame rate. Whoa, that frame rate absolutely smooth as butter. I'm sure it's 60 frames per second, might even be higher, probably 60, but for me 60 more than sufficient. Looked absolutely brilliant, especially after the disappointment of how badly the recent Pokemon games ran on the Switch 1. It actually made it difficult for me to play, as I've mentioned before, but no problems at all. Even when there were parts when I was walking around a more kind of open area and you could see really far into the distance. There was one part where I was running down a street and I turned around a corner and you could see like the whole city appear into view with like the Lumi Tower or the Prism Tower, whatever it's called, their equivalent, the Pokemon equivalent of the Eiffel Tower, all lit up beautifully. And it looked absolutely beautiful. It ran absolutely beautifully. I loved everything about it. The cutscenes and the talking between the characters and everything was pretty much what you expect from a Pokemon game at the moment. You know, they're not super elaborate cutscenes like you do just sometimes, you know, the screen will fade down to black and then it'll fade up to a different area and you've moved somewhere else. You know, you don't show a whole kind of cinematic cutscene, but and there's no voice acting or anything, so not a massive departure from anything that we've seen in a Pokemon game before, but frankly I wasn't expecting that. The version that I played obviously was all in French because I was in Paris, but I do read, I speak kind of passable French. I'm always understood by the French, but I speak kind of like a child because I make grammatical errors, but I read a lot in French, and so I could read everything that was coming up, and I understood all of the dialogue and everything, and it was well written. It was kind of cool as well. It was kind of funny and convivial and friendly, but also just got across the points, everything you needed to know really well. I was lucky to have somebody there from two people there from Nintendo or Pokemon Company explaining things and showing me things and helping me through. But obviously I could have played it by myself, but they were very helpful and very kind, and also the controls just felt just completely one-to-one. Obviously that's something you can't really show in the video, but yeah, no, I did feel that the controls were extremely responsive. Everything was great. The only issue that I had was I really wanted to inverse the y-axis, like the camera controls for me were upside down. I usually have them the other way, and I know that you can. I've heard other people say that you can, but A, I didn't want to waste time, and B, to be perfectly frank, I'm not entirely sure how to ask that in French. So I just thought, oh, okay, yeah, I would prefer to inverse these controls, but I don't want to ask, so I'll just play it. And so when you see my gameplay footage, I'll probably show a bit of it in my blog. There are times when I look like I've no idea what I'm doing, or I look like I've never used a dual analog stick before, because I keep having camera being in the wrong place. But it's because the up and down was the wrong way around, so my brain couldn't process it properly. But I did get used to it the more I played. But I should have just asked, or I should have just paused and tried to do it in the options myself. But for some reason at the time, when I had two people watching me and somebody filming me, I felt awkward, and I went, no, don't be stupid, just try it yourself. So the camera controls are kind of standard, but most people don't like that, or it seems to me most people don't like that. From what I see of people online, most people like instantly they're like, oh, invert, and I'm definitely one of those. The battling was great. The battling was really cool. You kind of it's real time, but you have to wait for gauges to charge. So you basically hold down the left shoulder trigger, and when you hold down that, a little kind of four button menu appears in the bottom right hand corner that shows what you can do, what options you can do. If you press this button, you'll do this attack, or if you press this button, you'll do this. And each one of those buttons has a little kind of timer gauge. It kind of fills up. It fills up, and when you can do it, it's like fully colored in, and you press it, and then obviously you're telling your Pokemon to do it. And I believe the more trained that your Pokemon is, the more likely they are to actually do what you tell them to do, because the Pokemon will do things by themselves. They're kind of self-sufficient. So it's not you press the button and it instantly happens. It's you press the button and you are basically saying, well, like in the anime, like shouting an instruction at the Pokemon, and then it's up to the Pokemon whether they listen, which is kind of cool. And you might think that doesn't sound responsive, but because you are in real time, you yourself are running around and avoiding things. It does feel in real time, and it does definitely feel responsive. It's just your Pokemon feel like they have more agency. And like I say, I'll go into all of this a lot more later. But also, what was cool is you move your character with the left analog stick, but you use the D-pad for left and right. Chooses what Pokemon you want to bring out, and then up brings that Pokemon out, and down pulls that Pokemon back in. So that was really cool and really intuitive. Once I kind of worked it out and got that, and basically the representative explained it to me, and I got the hang of it like immediately. I was like, oh, that makes so much sense that you are moving through them with left and right, moving through the different Pokemon with left and right, and then you press up to bring them out because it's like bringing them forward in front of you, and then down to like pull them back into the Pokeball. And I thought that was really cool, and it worked really well. So I really liked the battling system. So that was like the one demo that I played was basically like a tutorial area where it teaches you the basics of battling and also the basics of healing as well. You don't have to go to a Pokemon center or talk to a nurse or whatever to heal. There was a member of your team just kind of hanging around, and they said, oh, if you need to heal the Pokemon, come and talk to me and I can heal them. So yeah, I did that. There was a bit of dialogue, and that was cool to see how it worked. And then the second demo that I played was basically a more involved battle, which included mega evolutions. It was kind of like a boss, a much more difficult boss encounter, but I had more Pokemon to play around with as well, who'd been trained up to a higher level, exploring the whole how the mega evolutions work. And you basically press it when you're ready to mega evolve. You can press in the right stick, and then you mega evolve, and then obviously you're more powerful at that point. So both of the demos, they were 10 minutes each, and both of the demos were combat based. I'll talk more about them later. I'll show more footage of them later in my other video, but I enjoyed them all a lot. The graphics were great, the music was great, the dialogue and the interaction between the characters was great, the Pokemon looked wonderful. The battling system was really intuitive, really fun once I got the hang of it. The only thing that threw me off was the inverted camera, and also to begin with, again, I speak pretty passable French, but I misunderstood what she said to begin with. I thought she said, if you want to attack, you have to press the shoulder button. So I pressed the shoulder button and nothing happened. I didn't realize what she was saying is you have to hold in the shoulder button. So there was kind of an embarrassing like 30 seconds where I didn't quite get what she was saying. And then she had to just literally grab the controller and show me. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes total sense. And then after that, everything was plain sailing from there. So that was a little bit embarrassing. But other than that, yeah, no, once I started playing and once I had the hang of it, the controls are great. The controls work really well. I love it. It is a shame for me personally that even though I got to play for a full 20 minutes, which is awesome, but I only got to play battling, because for me, the bulk of what I enjoy about Pokemon is the exploring of the areas, the catching of the Pokemon, the finding out about the world, finding out about the story. So I didn't really get any of that, but I did get to run about Lumiose a little bit and see landmarks like the tower and everything in the background and stuff, and it was beautiful. I loved it. It just made me more and more hype to buy the game. I've already pre-ordered it. Obviously I'll be doing a full review of the game on release date, or maybe day before release date or something if I manage to get it early. Subscribe for that if you haven't already. But also I will be doing so many more Pokemon specials. Obviously I'm going to do a whole episode doing my vlog of the entire event in Paris, because there was so much to show, so much cool stuff, so much exclusive artwork, exclusive merch, really cool photo opportunities. I interviewed some really cool people, including the social media manager for Pokemon Go as well. We had a really cool conversation. I spoke to another YouTuber who literally travels around the world doing Pokemon stuff, and he just come back from Anaheim. He told me some really cool stuff as well. I met some people from Japan. Just all kinds of awesome stuff to cover in that vlog, so I will cover that soon. And also don't forget, I'm going to do a whole episode walking around Paris and showing the real life areas and their and their game equivalents. So kind of here's what it looks like in real life, and here's what it looks like in the game. And I'm hopefully going to be doing that with my friend Nelly, who is a very big French French YouTuber. She has 600,000 plus subscribers, but also she's written an excellent guidebook to Paris, so she is the perfect person. So we're just trying to work out what date she's available, because obviously she's very busy, but she's a good friend of mine, and she's also a Pokemon fan, so she's hyped to do it. It's just a case of when can we fit it in sometime between now and the release date. So if you want to see all of that, and if you want to hear more about my experience playing, and see the footage of me playing and embarrassing myself when I couldn't work out the shoulder button thing, and when the camera is inverted, I will show that. I promise I will show that later, even though it's embarrassing. The vlog is going to be really cool. I've got so much Pokemon stuff to cover. So if you haven't subscribed already, do it right now. And if you have subscribed already, thank you very much. I'm sorry to keep reminding you. Obviously, there's no way for me to know, but I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, leave me a comment. What do you think about Pokemon? What do you think about Legends ZA? What do you think about the Mega Dimensions DLC? Are you hyped for it? Do you think it looks enough? Are you angry about the $30 pricing, or do you think as long as the story content is substantial, do you think it's going to be okay and it's not actually too bad? Because it probably won't be coming out for a good few months after release, so it's not day one DLC, so it's not as bad as we thought. Let me know. And I would also love for you to come and join our free members area, linktree/dailyswitch2. And also, if you want to support the channel in any way, that would be absolutely fantastic, whether it's just subscribing, liking, leaving a comment, sharing, listening on Spotify, or there are ways to buy me a coffee or join the Patreon. But there is a free tier of Patreon as well. I don't hide anything behind a paywall, but just for every possible way to support the channel, it's linktree/dailyswitch2, linktr.ee/dailyswitch2. I really do appreciate if you can help in any way that you possibly can, because obviously traveling around and doing events like this and staying in hotels, obviously it's great fun. I love it. I appreciate it. But I'm so grateful for the opportunity, but obviously it's not free, and I already spend a lot of money on buying games and stuff to talk about on the channel. So this is starting. I started doing this just as a hobby because I love it, but it's becoming an ever more and more expensive hobby, as seems to be par for the course with Nintendo nowadays. But we don't complain. But I appreciate if you can support any way that you can, even if it's just dropping a like, drop a comment. Make sure you're subscribed. Absolutely fantastic. And at this event that I was at yesterday, so much cool exclusive Paris show merch, and I picked up a ton of it, and I will be giving it away in forthcoming episodes. We'll be doing free competitions, absolutely free to enter. Subscribe. Thank you so much. I'm going to get going now because I've got another coach to catch in about an hour. So I don't know if this will even upload. It depends how fast how fast the Wi-Fi is in this hotel as to whether I can upload this before my coach or if I have to wait till I get home. Okay, thanks guys. Really appreciate it. Take care. Bye.